everybody. Welcome back to the Monday version of Horse Center. We got I don't know who that guy on the top right-hand corner is. He's missing all of his hair. No longer looking like John Belushi, looking a little different now. Shawn, how's it going?
It's going good. Yeah, two different versions, either the real crazy hair or the buzz cut Shawn. So,
yeah, I heard people were offering you money and a place to sleep on the street before you got your haircut.
That's why I cut it.
And we're joined tonight by Wesley Ho, Jockey Wesley. How are you?
Good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for having us. And you have a guest to your right. Introduce us to her.
That's my girlfriend, Laura Carson. She's also a trainer here at Charlestown.
Ah, Laura, how are you tonight, Laura?
Very good. How are you?
Oh, we're doing pretty good, thank you. So, Wes, you've been on the sidelines for a little bit since I think the last time you rode was in the later part of December. Tell us, you got a little dinged up. What happened?
Yeah, I've been out since December 9th. Had a horse break down with me and rolled over top of me, and I broke 4 ribs.
Ooh, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it's definitely been a tough injury to deal with.
So when you breathe, did it hurt? Like, describe that pain, like when you would breathe in.
Oh yeah, breathing in deep breaths or laughing or sneezing. It was just like somebody was stabbing you the whole time. It was pretty intense for the first 2 weeks.
So when you got that tickle in your nose, what were you thinking?
That I really didn't want to sneeze. I would do anything not to.
So what sort of stuff do they do to help you rehab for broken ribs so that you can I never had broken ribs. I had like the little cartilage on my sternum pop off one time, and that was very uncomfortable, but I can't imagine 4 broken ribs with a horse rolling over me.
Well, honestly, the rehab is I've been pretty much just kind of on rest and just not able to do too much. I just started physical therapy, and we've been doing dry needling because my whiplash was so bad in my neck that the muscles just are still kind of learning to relax again. But for my ribs, there was just not much I could really do. Just rest and not do too much with them.
So you introduced us to your girlfriend. Who is the young man?
This is my son, Jordan. He's about 3.5 now.
As we were joking before the show got started, Shawn's son, Blake, if you've ever watched a sports show, is 4 years old. So we were joking that you're just 6 months away from being shot by Nerf guns while you're live on shows on Horse Center with Shawn and I. Shawn, how are you tonight?
I'm great. I always look forward to coming back to the show. I hope everybody else does too. I love it. Wes, so are you starting to ride horses again? And when are you due back to start racing again?
No, I'm not back on yet. My physical therapist said that I can kind of go back to light training, like 2 days a week, but not to overdo it. So kind of like 2 or 3 horses a morning. And that's pretty much it right now because we still don't know, like the one top rib up here in the back still bothers me pretty good at some points. And with the horses, when you get a tough horse and they're pulling on you or rooting with you and jerking on you, it's, we're kind of not looking forward to finding out how that feels yet.
Yeah. What is at Charlestown, they have the 4.5 furlongs, which is unique distance and stuff like that. What's your favorite race to ride?
I'm a really good gate rider. But I rather, honestly, I like the longer distance, the 7/8 or the mile and a piece. But I've learned really well here, could be because I did start here. But a lot of the races here is you got to ship the horses, and most trainers want you up close and early in the first part of the race. But I would, if my favorite distances would probably be the 7/8. That way, you can get your horse to relax a little bit and finish at the end.
When you were growing up, who were the jockeys you looked up to, and who's the jockeys you look up to now in the jockeys room?
Well, when I was growing up, Honestly, I really didn't watch much of the races, because my dad he kind of retired early. But my parents were divorced, so we really didn't see my dad much. And we weren't really raised around the track. Um, and it's kind of funny because I lived in Laurel for the longest time and went to high school there for my first 2 years. Went elementary school, middle school, but was never around the track. And then I went to Liberty High School in Carroll County my last 2 years, and graduated from there. And we moved to Charlestown, and I just kind of told my mom I wanted to do it, and I went to Ellery. So I really didn't have anybody I really looked up to when I was a kid. And nowadays when I look up, I look up to Trevor, Sheldon. They've always given me great advice on how to change some of the style of my riding. But I also like watching the races. I like watching NYRA and Jose and Mike Smith, because they're great riders, and it's definitely somebody to look up to.
Absolutely. We have a little comment for you here from what does that say? Dominic of Ama? Is that how you pronounce that?
Dominica Fama.
Dominico Fama. All right. Dominico Fama says you're the best gate rider, and asks where your brother is.
My brother, he stopped with the horses. Really, he was exercising a couple of days a week in the summer, but now he's working at Procter and Gamble in Inwood, West Virginia. He's kind of gotten away from the horses. I think he just wanted something new. But I know when it gets warm out again, he'll start coming back out and gallop a couple days a week when he's off and doesn't have to work at the factory. But he likes his job, and nobody can blame him. The cold stinks.
Especially when you got broken ribs, right?
Yeah,
worse. For sure. So what have you been doing in your downtime?
Really, I've just been spending time with my son. It's hard through when I'm back riding, because mornings we work, and then Thursday, Friday, Saturday we ride. So, and then Tuesday nights I'm on a bowling league, and Wednesday is like the only night. Monday and Wednesday are like the only nights I get to spend with him, and Sunday, unless I have to go travel to, like in the summer, Mountaineers Open, I'll go up to Mountaineer or Penn National. It's tough. So right now I get to really make up that time, and spend time with him. And I help my girlfriend keep the house clean.
She's smiling about that. 2 thumbs up, huh? She's like,
yeah, apparently you're not lying.
Horses.
No, he's not.
Perfect. I mean, that's every girl's dream, right? So on your Twitter, I see a lot of stuff for baseball cards, sports equipment. I mean, sports memorabilia, some information about like Grand Prix racing. What's all that about?
It's just stuff that I like watching when I have time. I used to have sports cards, but I don't have them anymore.
So I thought maybe you were in the business of trading them. I wasn't sure.
No.
There's a smile back there about the sports cards. There's more to that story than meets the eye, isn't there?
Oh, no, it was my son making a weird noise.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure about that.
He makes a bunch of different audible noises.
Yeah, that's okay. We're used to that, but you have no idea how used I am to all sorts of different noises, Shawn.
Plenty of YouTube videos to prove that too.
Yes, indeed, for sure. So when you get back on the track, what are your goals for 2022?
My goals really are to try to stay out as much trouble or spills as much as I can. Mm-hmm. But honestly, just to have a better year than I had last year. Last year was kind of a slow year for me because I did pick up, and I went to Delaware for a little bit, and then I came back here and I started with my agent, Steve Paris. And we actually did pretty good when I got back, and when we got together, we kind of knocked some out and got into some better barns. So I just kind of looking forward to see what happens this. Well, I guess it won't be a full year of riding for me, but looking forward to see what we can do this year.
How hard and how long does it take you to get back in the rhythm of things when you come back from a layoff like this?
Honestly, I don't know how hard, because I haven't had like a layoff like this before. This is definitely my longest injury layoff. I just kind of have to start getting fit before I get back to the track is going to be my main goal. And this week I get to start, like I said, getting back on horses, but I get to start running on the treadmill, biking, just to get the stamina back into me. Is I guess going to tell how fast I'll actually get back and feeling like I can not get tired riding again.
The treadmill. I hate the treadmill. The people who decided to fold and put clothes on it, they were much smarter than the people who decided to run on it. I'll tell you that for sure. So I have a question for you. In that you had mentioned that your agent was helping you get into better barns. And can you kind of explain how that works? Does the agent just kind of like old fashioned go door to door like a old shoe salesperson and just knock on the door of the trainers and say, hey, why don't you give us a ride on this particular horse? Or are there some hands in the back that are saying, hey, this horse is kind of ready to go, and kind of like pushing the agent in the right direction? Explain how all that works.
Well, he goes barn, he'll go barn to barn here at Charlestown. He does have a lot of other connections outside of here, Fair Hill, Laurel, but here at Charlestown, he goes barn to barn. He'll call trainers, he'll call the trainers, but he just pushes and asks. He doesn't try to uppercut anybody, but he'll ask for certain horses and hope that we get the shot. Or if there's a horse that we've been riding that gets claimed, he'll go to that trainer and say, hey, we'd love to ride the horse back. But overall, he just stays on top of it, and he's been really good about it.
All right, sounds good. Blair Monroe says, well, so hopefully you're back at Delaware this spring. Any plans to do that?
I mean, I definitely plan on riding in Delaware. I won't be up there in the mornings unless, I have a couple horses to work or something like that. Or if I have to go to Fair Hill one morning, and then, I can also stop by Delaware because it's only 15 minutes away.
Not too far from you might see Shawn this summer. If you see him coming, run the other way. All right, Shawn, any other questions, Shawn?
No, I was just going to joke with you and say, how hard is it to get a ride for trainer Laura Carson?
Oh, man. He's a tough one. No, it's I ride, she has 4 and I ride one of them. But most of the other times I have calls in the race. So it's tough to spin the bigger trainer that I ride for when she only has 4. I gotta keep loyal to the people that are riding me.
Right.
Jason Mills wants to know what's the best horse you ever rode.
There you go.
Ooh, that's definitely a tough one. I win the $500,000 here at Charlestown on Fred High. And so he's definitely been one of my best earnings. But I would definitely have to say Joint Custody. He was a really nice 2-year-old and 3-year-old. And he was a multi-stakes winner also. But they would come down between those two. And there was one more, a filly named Fliera d'Oro, which she's the dam of Silver Dust. So she was definitely a nice mare that I was riding also. So it would go down between those 3.
Good combination right there. He says, how hard is it to keep your weight off to a certain level? Boy, I used to know when I wrestled, it's one of those things when I wrestled that you kind of got there and tried to maintain it. Do you kind of do it that way too, or how do you keep your weight where it needs to be?
Well, I've been doing the keto diet.
Mm.
And it's actually helped me really well this year. Last year I got heavy a couple of times, especially after COVID. I got up to like 18 and 20.
COVID 20, it's nasty. I took it off, put it back on, and now I'm in the process of putting it back off again. So hopefully COVID ends on an odd year. But anyway, I'm sorry to interrupt.
But I've dropped back down to 12 and 10, which is, and it's actually really easy, cutting out the soda. I do drink some soda now, but it's the zero sugar, like Coke Zero, Mountain Dew Zero, and which gives me my kind of like soda fix, because it is hard cutting off a soda when you've been drinking it all the time. But also
I know the feeling, man. I've been trying to kick this habit for so long, and then when you put it down, it's worse than a hangover, man. How ill you feel.
Oh yeah, with the headaches and
Sugar's the worst.
It's terrible. I hate it. I want to get rid of it, but I'm trying. But anyway, so if folks want to follow along with you online, what's the best place to keep up with you, Wesley?
Mostly on Facebook. I do have Instagram and I do have Twitter. I don't look at them as much. Facebook, I usually tend to get on a couple times a day. But I would definitely say Facebook.
Facebook, and what's the Twitter? What's the handle there? Just Wesley Ho.
Yep.
Okay, isn't that Jockey Wesley Ho or anything? Just Wesley Ho?
No, just Wesley Ho.
His Twitter handle's pretty good though.
Yeah, I like your Twitter handle. What's your Twitter handle?
I get on Twitter here and there.
But no, we're asking the Twitter handle.
Oh, I think that's Jockey Ho.
Jockey
no,
Ho.
it's your favorite Ho. It's your favorite Ho.
I haven't been on. I don't know. Hold on. Now you're me. Oh, Jockey West.
Jockey West. All right. So how do you feel about no whooping rules in Monmouth? Blair wants to know.
That's definitely a tough call. I haven't ridden Monmouth since they went to that rule. So I can't really say. I mean, we did see some falls with it this year with the horses, and then some jocks getting in trouble for even tapping them when they said if it's if they're getting out or giving you a problem and you hit them, it's one thing, and if we do it, then we still get fined on top of it. It's I don't understand why they didn't go to the 6 strikes like everywhere else. Why take the whip completely away? I agree with overhitting a horse. It's not right. But the six strikes, I definitely think is doable. And we have it here at Charlestown. They do it at Laurel. They do it everywhere else. So I just didn't understand why Monmouth didn't, go to the 6th strike before even trying to take, and before going to no hits at all.
Yeah, maybe this horse racing integrity thing will make that the same across every track if it actually ever gets through, because it's like politics and everything else that's with politics. It starts over here and ends up over there, and it's completely 180 degrees from where it meant to start from, right?
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
For sure. Well, we do appreciate you and Laura and the young man joining us tonight. We look forward to seeing you back on the track, Wes. Thanks for joining us, both of you, and the little boy. Have a great night.
Well, thank you, Rich, and thank you, Shawn, and thank you for having us.
No problem. Anytime when you're back on the track, let us know. We're going to have you back on, all right?
All right, sounds good.
Fantastic. Have a great night.
You too.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, Shawn, yet another fun interview, right? Meeting somebody new, Wesley Ho from, I can imagine 4 broken ribs. Oh, my. With a horse falling on you. Ooh.
Yeah, and then you're thankful that it is just 4 broken ribs too, but you're not very thankful for those 4.
No. Happy it's not 5, right?
Yeah.
For sure.
Wow.
Thanks, Jay. So tonight, as everybody, well, some people know who are here, your name is going, if you're putting your comment in, the comment is going into your name is going into the hat, just one. You can put 100 comments in there, but your name only goes in once, right, Shawn? Tom Demo's in there too. Any race would you like to have to do over? Tom, I've never ridden a horse, my man. There must be a little bit of a delay there, right? Between YouTube. So sorry, Tom. Wes was gone. We'll ask him that question and bring it back. But Tom, you're not eligible for the Mike Smith signed picture, which we'll be giving away today. They're keeping track of the folks. So if you haven't commented yet, make sure you comment, because you're going to get well, I did write one horse, J. Marco. And I've told that story many times, too many times, but I went to Cincinnati with my son on a soccer tournament, went to some barn in Kentucky with like this dude who trained the horses in the Ohio River and ran them in races and stuff. And he put me on like the old man horse, and the old man horse was like you would expect an old man horse to be. I told it go left. It went right. It went out of the barn. It saw a young filly up on the hill, and it wanted to go chase the young filly with me on it. It was ready to jump over the fence, swim through the water, whatever it had to do to go chase that filly. But I wasn't.
I mean, you can't blame the horse for chasing the filly over having Rich ride the horse.
Yes, I can't blame him for that either, for sure. But in any case, let's talk about the news, Shawn. And it seems like you can't have a news day without Bob Baffert in the news, no?
Yeah, it keeps on coming. I mean, and it's getting uglier and uglier. And it's going to continue to get ugly till they just put a ruling on this and see what happens here.
Well, this is just one. This is with NRA, right? The New York Racing Association.
Yep.
And you can see from the headline here, the sides come out swinging. I don't know, but when I read through this, Shawn, it just seems to me on the Churchill side, and we're going to have a little bit more to talk about this tomorrow in a subject that we come up with our guest tomorrow night, Mike Smith, but it seems on the New York Racing Association side, it seems to me on the Churchill Downs side, it seems to me this is going from a legal issue to it seems to be going to a personal issue on both sides. I mean, they're just hurling insults at each other, never mind the law.
Yeah, and there is one point in there, and I kind of, about Baffert, how he was going on all these news stations and everything else and making it about himself and, deflecting and everything else. There's points on both sides of this thing, and just more and more keeps coming out. So, yeah, basically
I don't have a problem with him using the venues. I mean, if you have availability, you do it, right? I mean, that's anybody who go out and try to put themselves in the best
right. It's also hypocritical not to do to say that, because if he sits quiet, then he's automatically guilty too because he sits quiet. So yeah, 100% agree with that.
I mean, I just wonder what's happened behind the scenes, right? Because Bob was the I was going to say the golden boy, but he's got the white haired boy of horse racing, right? he was the face of horse racing, right? Yeah. And he won that Kentucky Derby, and it was the most, and everybody was exalting him, right? And he had this Medina spirit, and how wonderful this was. And then 3 days later, it all came crashing down. It just seems to me, poster boy, absolutely the poster boy for horse racing, Jay. But it just seems to me that there's so much animosity between the sides. This just doesn't happen overnight, right? This is a relationship with the NRA, with the folks at Churchill Downs that is clearly was sour before all this stuff happened. At least that's my take.
Yeah, and now they have the ammo and stuff and the spot to just go after him, and they're going after him.
You think maybe it's a little envy that all these people do a lot of work behind the scenes, don't really get noticed, and here's Bob out there with the horses making all the money with the nice hair. He's got that like billionaire look to him.
It could be, but Bob's definitely put the target on his back too. So,
Jay, you're right. Absolutely, yeah. A pissing match for sure. What's not a pissing match is this is just. I don't know why you would ever even like this match, Shawn. Now, we're all familiar with the story of Pete Rose, right?
Yep.
So the one thing I can say to Pete Rose is that I never really had a problem with Pete Rose betting on his own team, right? Right. If you're betting on your own team, you're not making decisions to make your team lose.
Correct. But that was the only thing that was proven. We don't know if he went the other way. They couldn't prove that anyway.
Well, on Pete Rose?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just saying, if you're betting on your own team, I could see that, right? If I were a fighter, right? If I were a boxer, let's say, or if I were in the UFC and I was going to fight somebody, I would bet on myself if I were an underdog, because I would feel like I'm going to kick that dude's ass and I'm going to get paid 3-1 on my bet. And I'm going to get paid from Dana White. And I'm going to get the $50,000 bonus for knocking his teeth out. Right. I mean, that's how I would feel. But this guy, Michael Sanchez, did it the other way around.
Well, what I will say, there's part of this, and I read this story and it didn't have it in there, and I don't know which article does have it in there. He actually bet against himself twice where he won the race. So
you think it was additional motivation?
Yeah, he didn't actually like necessarily hold his horses back. It was just a result of, I guess he really wanted to gamble, and it had to be gambling on his race. But also his attorney and stuff says he's going through some personal issues and stuff like that. So I did find it odd though. And I like the fact that he actually did win some races this way. That means he necessarily wasn't holding the horses back to fix the race. It kind of odd that you would bet against yourself and then win the race, but
well, I mean, I guess that stands to the fact that, you know, like you said, he wasn't holding his horse back. Maybe he got more out of the horse than he thought, or maybe it was some kind of weird way to self-motivate.
And the crazy thing here is he opened a TVG account in December. That's how you get caught. Like, you could do this a number of different ways. Opening a TVG account or any account and putting your name on there, and you're a jockey, they're going to know who you are. Red flags right away. TVG did what they had to do. And
so are you saying if you're a jockey and you want to open an account, DM Shawn, he'll do it for you?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
That's what it sounded like to me.
No, I'm just saying there's definitely better ways to go about it.
You can DM me for a small cost. Make your bets. Call me, hook me up. Just don't DM him at the horse racing. So you have to DM him directly, right? So other side of that, how many times did he bet on a bad race? It's kind of interesting to see how many times he did a bad race. I'm sure that they're looking through his bets and looking through his mounts and seeing like how his horses performed, and if there was like a deliberate like stall out of the gate. And even if it wasn't deliberate, it's now going to be deliberate no matter what, right? That's the downside of doing that, because even if you weren't trying to do something wrong and something went wrong, it's going to be interpreted as you did it on purpose.
Yeah, and it's hard to actually hold him back or do something on purpose because you're going to lose those rides too. So, okay, he makes a few bucks betting, but then he's losing those rides. You don't want to do that as a jockey. You need as many rides as you can get. So it wouldn't make much sense.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised it happens more than you think, Jay. Let's talk about another big bet, Shawn. Mattress Mac, everybody's favorite gambler, Mattress Mac. How does this guy end up being such a famous gambler, Shawn?
I don't know, because he's on a losing streak at this point, isn't he? He really hasn't won with his big bets lately.
So not only are you going to start taking jockeys bets, or you're going to start taking Mattress Mac specs?
I feel not Mattress Mac bets, but I feel like I'll take Derby future bets because they're the worst bets to do. That is a ton of money. Those are the worst bets.
We're going to talk to Mike Smith about a little bit of that. He got beat with a lot of favorites in I don't know what that in Maryland. So I think that's what that stands for. I'm not 100% sure. But looking at these Derby future wagers, Mattress Mac bet $7,000 on Smile Happy, and this is off the bet where he bet $10,000 on Smile Happy in the previous futures pool, Shawn, making Smile Happy the favorite out of the futures pool. Yeah, Shawn has too many accounts already. I know he's trying to get me to open them up all the time for $10 bonuses. But so he made Smile Happy the favorite in the first futures pool, Shawn. The non-field favorite.
Yeah, and this is, if you're doing a Kentucky Derby future, this is not the horse to take now that Mattress Mac put all that money on. You are not going to get any value there at all.
And now he'll never come on the show, Shawn. Thank you.
Mattress Mac.
We're going to bring this up tomorrow with Mike Smith, because there's a 800-pound gorilla in the room that no one's talked about yet, right? In terms of the futures, the Kentucky Derby futures. And I think that's reflected in the odds, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Because Corniche should
definitely be the favorite, yeah.
Which would likely be the favorite. And this all kind of rewinds back to that story about Bob Baffert. Not only are they not letting Corniche accumulate points, but he's obviously not a part of the Kentucky Derby futures pool either. So I think that 9-5 field bet is really a bet on Corniche.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some sports books that were taking Corniche future bets, but yeah, these polls I haven't seen his name. So yeah, that's definitely the field, because who would want to take 9-5? But yeah, if you're getting Corniche and you're getting all of Baffert's horses and whatever other horse that's not on the list yet, yeah.
Well, provided Baffert's horses make it. I mean, you got to think the good ones that have a shot are going to end up in another barn.
Yeah, you would hope too. I mean, it would not be good to lose out on talented horses just because of that. Yeah, whatever they're going to do to have these horses run, have them run.
That's going to be, I think that's going to be interesting how that plays out, because the reality is, you really have until the end to make up your mind on that. You're going to put a lot of pressure on Corniche, but you get into one of those Derby qualifiers and you win and you get the 50 or the 100 points, Sean, you're in the race, right? So they have a lot of time for this to play out. And obviously Bob is using the schedule and the point system to his advantage to see how things play out before they move that horse off to another barn. So tonight, Sean, as I mentioned, I kind of gave it away a little bit. Mike Smith is our guest tomorrow. Who is our guest on Wednesday?
Jonathan Stetton from Past the Wire. They do some stuff. They have a website, all kinds of stuff. They also did a follow-up interview with Chantel Sutherland after she was on our show, and got a lot of slack on Twitter and stuff. So he's been around the game for a while. He's a big bettor, a really good bettor, knows the game in and out. So it should be a fantastic interview.
Yeah, and I was a little bit upset about the fact that she got some heat from coming on our show. That's never the point of our show. It's for the people that come on and kind of peel the curtain back a little bit so we can see the Wizard of Oz. But we want it to be obviously a better experience than that. So I did feel bad that she took some heat off of that. That's never the point. On Thursday, we have on Claudia Spadaro. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name correctly. Spadaro, I'm sorry. She's from Venezuela. She is a handicapper and does a lot of the Spanish-speaking material for Gulfstream Park. So we're going to be talking about the Pegasus, Nick's Run, and all those good horses. Colonel Liam coming back to defend his title. So that should be a pretty good show as well. And then Terry and I will be back tomorrow morning at 1 o'clock, tomorrow afternoon, 12 o'clock Eastern, to talk about parks, provided those thin-skinned Pennsylvanians can run when it's 32 degrees.
Yeah, it's mostly the snow.
I had my early pick for today, Sean, for a couple $100.
There you go.
So are you ready to grab the hat, Sean?
Yeah, we got a little bucket here.
All right, now you don't get to pull the name out. Blake gets to
Blake's right here.
Okay.
You want me to show Blake? You want me to show all the names in here?
No, you don't have to show the name, Sean. We know they're all right. If you want to show them, if you feel obligated, I mean, I'm sure you put your own name in there a couple times.
Yeah, no.
Okay, drum roll, please. I don't want to go ahead and do the drum roll because I know if I take a drum roll off of YouTube, somebody will come after me for the fair use policy.
All right.
Now you don't want to come.
Blake's right here.
All right, Blake, grab one out of there, my man. Drum roll, please. And the winner is?
We got Blair Monroe.
Blair Monroe. Blair, make sure you DM Sean. You are the winner of a Mike Smith Justified picture signed by the jockey himself. There you go. We'll bring that up on there. Sorry, Jay. We wanted to make you. I told Sean to put all Jay Marcos in the hat. he told me we couldn't be that way. And there it is. So make sure, Blair, that you DM Sean, DM us at Horse Racing, Horse Race Today. You see it on the bottom down there. Get in contact with Sean to do the delivery instructions. He will do that. Yes, indeed. Great job, Blake. We appreciate that. Now go get your Nerf gun and shoot pop. Hey, come on. We're waiting. All right, Sean. So any final thoughts before we get up out of here? Tom, I see you're listening. What are we doing on Saturday for Saturday? Because we need to make up for this past weekend in Hong Kong. We didn't do so well.
You mean Friday afternoon?
Yeah, but the bets were Saturday night to Sunday.
Yeah, so just subscribe here if you can. We appreciate everybody. We've had some nice words to us, so we appreciate everybody that shares with their friends and everything else. Twitter, Facebook at Horse Race Today. Also Instagram at Horse Race Today. And that's pretty much it. We appreciate all the guests. I'm still scheduling the guests as we get them. It's been a great list, and if anybody else has any ideas or wants to come on, just reach out.
Yeah, if anybody's watching wants to come on, please let us know. If you got any connections or if you know somebody you think would be a great interview, let us know too. And we're trying to work on, so we want to do like the 6 degrees of separation thing if we can for the Kentucky Derby. So if anybody knows Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones or knows somebody who knows Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones, he's a horse breeder. He's sold some horses that have run at the Curragh in Ireland, Tom. So we're trying to reach out to Ronnie Wood from the Rolling Stones, who knows horse racing, knows music, obviously. We'd love to bring him on the show to talk about the Kentucky Derby. So if you do, let us know.
And I'll say that again. That's the great thing about horse racing is I can reach out to these stars that we see every day, and they get back to me. Actors and celebrities, a lot harder. Sports players, a lot harder. So we appreciate everybody else being so reachable. And also the fact, and this is why we don't want to give them slack neither for coming on. If they come on and they say the truth and they give us behind the scenes, that's what we want. We want to get to know the person and get to know what goes on out in the track. Because like we've mentioned plenty of times, Swiss Army Sean's not to be a jockey anytime soon.
Not going to happen. I got to give Jay Marco some credit here. I think we got to find him a signed picture too, Sean. Because he gave us in the winner's circle. If you recall, it started off, I'll see you in Jay Marco's winner's circle. And we changed that just to winner's circle. And I think he's giving you a close right there. We'll see you next time in the paddock.
There you go. See you next time in the paddock. And Jay, I'll reach out to you.
Yes, indeed. Or Jay, you can reach out to Sean. He's got something for you. So we'll make sure you get something for giving us those ways to close the show. All right, guys. How do you get in contact with us? Blair, just DM us. You're on Facebook, so just reach out to Sean on Facebook. Can you do that behind the scenes, Sean? Because I'm not a social media guy.
Yeah, either the Horse Racing Today page or just look up Sean Drupp. I don't think there's too many out there. You'll see a picture of me either with the crazy hair or buzz cut like this. I don't remember. Actually, it's a family picture. Just message me.
So, or you can also, if you need to, Blair, you can email me at gtsrichb@gmail.com. If anybody else wants to email me, feel free to do so. Just keep it clean. And then we can go ahead and we can arrange that getting sent out to you. Same here, Jay. Let us know where you want us to send a signed picture. We'll get one out to you as well. I don't know who you have left. Do you have any more Mike Smith stuff that signed Sean?
Well, I have one. I'll reach out to Jay. He's been a great friend of the show and done a lot for us. So,
okay,
Jay, fantastic. I will hook you up.
Sounds good. All right, Sean. Until we meet again, next time we'll see you in the
paddock.
Absolutely. Have a fantastic Monday night. Sean and I will see you tomorrow
night. I'm about to get shot by a Nerf gun too.
We want to see it. We'll see you tomorrow night with Hall of Fame jockey Mike Smith. Until then, enjoy your time in the paddock. Have a great night. Get him.